Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. And this is the book that I'll be reading from, Tales My Lama Told Me, by Pastor David Lai. And the stories within were shared to him by our Guru, His Eminence, the 25th Sam Tuku Rinpoche. So I'll be reading on chapter 14, These Hard Times. These are stories about Rinpoche as a child, and I'll be reading from page 146. So here you go. This is a picture of his very first guru in New Jersey. Okay, page 146. Once, when it was my birthday, I would try to exchange any gifts for a visit to the temple. My mother would ask me how often I would like to go to the temple. I would ask for just once a week because I wanted to attend chok, a special ritual prayer. I would get my gift, but if I got caught beyond the time permitted, or if she wasn't in a good mood, then all rights to go to the temple would be revoked, even though it has been a gift. I resorted to sneaking out to the temple to get teachings and to attend chok. I would sit there gripped by extreme fear, and sometimes they would come and look for me. If they did come, I would have to get up and go home, and I would be in real big trouble. All this happened right in front of everybody, and I would not be allowed to go for teachings anymore. I didn't have the freedom that you guys have now. I had to sit at teachings gripped with such fear but I was always enraptured by the teachings. I wanted it so badly. I wanted to learn and just absorb everything. I would borrow all the books on the Dharma that I could find. Despite all the restrictions, I had a Dharma friend who was a nun. She had a huge library of Dharma books, and I would borrow 4 to 5 books at a time from her and absorb it all within a week. I would go home, read, and absorb everything. I would write down all my questions, and later I would ask the monks or one of the students at the center. I think I was always asking questions because I really wanted to learn. I didn't need anyone to push me as I had a drive in me that said I had to learn. There was something deep down inside that told me you have to prepare for the future when you will be traveling. I don't know why, but it wasn't just a choice. It was a compelling feeling. So I read voraciously to prepare for the future. I felt that I needed to learn as much as I could to prepare for the future, and that was my sole driving force. The constant abuse soon became unbearable. I tried to kill myself but failed. Then I tried to run away 3 times. My final and successful attempt came when I was 15, close to my 16th birthday. I hitchhiked across America from New Jersey. I had very little money, so I had to take the bus up to New York and then hitchhike across the United States from there. There were 2 routes I could take. I could go via the route up north, or I could go south. I went south because winter was coming and I didn't want to freeze to death. I hitchhiked across the country to Los Angeles and had to sleep outdoors and beg for food. At the same time, I had to avoid people trying to touch me, those who wanted to rob me, and all manner of dangerous people. It was really scary, and when I did reach LA, it was survival time. My chosen destination was actually Hawaii, but I didn't have the money to travel all the way there. I had initially chosen Hawaii to get as far away as I could from my step parents because they had sent an all points bulletin surveillance throughout America for me. I was still a minor then, and I might be easily be I have sorry, and I might have easily been caught as I was listed on all police computers. I could have been apprehended, and then I would have either been sent to jail or repatriated back home. If I refused to go home, they would have sent me to juvenile detention. We call juvenile detention juvie for short, and you definitely do not want to go to juvie. If you are under 18, you have to stay there or be sent home. It is the law that minors under 18 cannot be on their own without a guardian. At juvenile detention, it was well known that younger boys would be raped by older boys. It was as common as saying that the sky is blue. I knew about that for a fact, and I definitely did not want to go to juvie. So I did everything I could to avoid it. I was fresh and young, and they would have called me a chicken. Once you get in there, they will pluck your feathers dry, and this is not a joke. They will really hurt you in juvenile detention. I know that because some of the boys in there aren't just runaways. They are murderers, druggies, gangsters, not just one or two delinquent children. If they didn't like the way you look, they will kill you. They are very tough. Fortunately, soon after I arrived in Los Angeles, I met my second teacher, Geshe Soltim Gelson, and he was extremely kind to me. I moved into his Dharma center and lived there for 4 to 5 years. That was when I met my root guru, His Holiness Kapje Zong Rinpoche, who had a huge impact on my life. These kind lamas like Geshe-la and Zong Rinpoche were actually nice to me. They didn't try to hurt me and I didn't get beaten anymore. When they spoke about the Dharma, they actually lived up to what they preached. They didn't just tell you nice things, they actually practiced it. I knew this was true because when I lived with Geshe-la, I was no longer living in fear anymore. I know this sounds silly, but the fact that I was allowed to lock my bedroom door was a big deal for me. You have no idea how many bad experiences I had with unlocked doors when I was hitchhiking across America. When I joke about my fear of rape and all that, it is not completely a joke. It's just something I have not talked about for years. It was not because of fear or shame, but who would believe me? And even if they did believe me, what was the point in telling them? When I met Kapje Zong Rinpoche, everything in my life changed. My whole path changed. He told me what Buddhist deities I should pray to. He advised me what I should do, and he gave me my protector practice. For my birthday, he thought about me and even gave me a birthday gift. He had his attendant go out and buy me a Chinese hand puppet, which had 5 flags and a beard like one of the Chinese opera characters. He got one of those and gave it to me. All of this was from the kindness of Kapje Zong Rinpoche. Besides my Lama, there were other students of Geshe-la's who were also very kind to me. The center was always struggling when, but then, but it is doing fine now. While I was there, it was always struggling. There were not enough volunteers, not enough contributions, and we have had to move few times to smaller places because there simply was not enough money. Geshe-la struggled for years. In fact, it was so bad at one time that he had to take a part-time job at UCLA. He was giving Dharma talks for the philosophy department to support the Dharma Center and to make ends meet. I remember Geshe-la, this erudite master from the great Ganden monastery of Old Tibet, would even have to take the public bus to get to the college. When some of the students found out, they wouldn't allow it and they stopped it as soon as they knew. While I was at the center, I did my best at being the housekeeper the way my mother had trained me. I would do all the laundry for Geshe-la, just like I did back in New Jersey, only this time I did it to collect merit for my spiritual practice. I would clean the Gompa prayer hall, Geshe-la's room, cook his meals and make tea for him, and I would take care of his cat. I basically took care of all the household affairs at the center. The harsh training I got while growing up with my mother came in useful to serve my Lama and the center. What I'm trying to say here is that whenever you have a chance to do something for others, you should do it. When you have an opportunity to make a difference, you should do it. When you have a chance to learn something or to absorb something, you should do it. You should get your priorities right and you should ensure your future with it. This is because a lot of people out there do not have such an opportunity or chance. They suffer tremendously. I know a lot of people like that. We shouldn't waste this chance. We really have it easy when our parents allow us to have freedom and we can basically do whatever we want. But if we continuously fail, disappoint, burden, hurt, damage, break our promises, and are flippant about our freedom, then it is a wasted opportunity. People can only remind us and tell us of so many times. Such opportunities can run out. Time will run out and the good days will come to an end. Why is it that some of us are born into torture and hell? Why is it that some of us are born into an easy life with no responsibilities? You have to realize that this is the force of karma. And so I end my sharing session here. And do join me when I continue on with the chapter in my next session. So we end this with a completion dedication in Tibetan. Jangjo Senjo Rinpoche, Mage Panam Geishi, Ge Panam Pame Payang, Goni Gondo Pewashu, Doni Toa Rinpoche, Mage Panam Geishi, Ge Panam Pame Payang, Goni Gondo Pewashu, Daso Jini Sapage Wadi, Tantandro Agona Kampadang, Jepa Jesu no Santrapai, Tamping Imporindu Sa Se, Sho, Ge Wakundu Yandalamada, Drami Choki Pala no Choji, Sadam Nangi Yate Razone, Doji Shangi Opangatus, Ge Wadi, Yududa, Lamasangi Druyone, Druachi Kyambalopa, De Salago Pasho. Choki Gyampo Sungapa, Josunampa Pewala, Geki Samasi Wadan, Tungi Malo Sangwasho, Dadam Singi Dusundan, Drewi Songi Latini, Gewalo Santrapai, Tampayu Riva, Gyushi, Ni Modele Sendele, Nimi Gunyandele Shi, Nisintatu Dele Pel, Kunchusungi Jigilo, Kunchusungi Ngotruso, Kunchusungi Trasi Sho. Jesu Lama kusin rapting ching nam katrini chocho ke pada no samten pedro mi sapsungi dro e musa tato ni yushi gangri rawe ko we shinkam den bendan dewa malu go ne sharon se one ten sing get so yi chape shi de padu den yushi hom tum pe ngo tru malu pa den den dala sau du so godan den pa long chot nam ke pa su shik shuk ten sel. Thank you again for joining me, and please do join me as I continue on with the chapter.